such a like luxury though to have that problem, you know, compared to some people. They would never work on their job for fun after work, you know. They wouldn't, like plumbers don't come home and just be like, I'm just gonna work on my own sink and shit, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Fun tonight. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Jesse Nyberg podcast. Today I'm here with Brethren Design Company, Jeremy and Jordan. They're a duo, brothers, talented illustrators and designers, and I'm excited to talk to them. So how are you guys doing today?
Doing good, man. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, doing great. Yeah, thanks for having us on.
Yeah, of course. Can you guys just maybe introduce yourselves so people can know the who's who and whatnot?
Yeah, I'm Jordan Coon. Older brother, I guess. Yeah, older brother.
Yeah, I think you are.
And Jeremy and I just have been running Brethren together for the last 3 years or so. I still work full-time as an art director at a place called Signal Factory, and I'm based in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Jeremy's in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm Jeremy, the younger brother.
Are you sure?
By 3 years. We're 3 years apart.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you still working on your own thing too, or you mainly do the Brethren stuff? I
still hold down a 9-to-5 at a company doing mainly Greek apparel. Yeah. So I've been doing that for 10 years now. Yeah. And then the Brethren.
So how do you guys take on like the projects through Brethren then? Because it seems like you have enough like attention around the brand to like probably get enough clients on its own. How do you manage that stuff?
Just through good time management, man.
Yeah.
We get to, the projects that we work on are, we're pretty passionate about, because we have with our other job, we kind of pick and choose what we want to work on. So it always helps to, be really into the project to make that time for it. And just balancing it out. We do a good job, collaborating and dividing and conquering and both of that. So it gets heavier, as the time is progressing with Brethren, but right now we're managing it, I think. All right.
And I think our main goal with, instead of just jumping into straight up full-time Brethren, is to just kind of keep it going slow. Hopefully that we can gain enough momentum to where we're still only doing projects that we like to do instead of just kind of having to take on projects to pay the bills. So we're hoping, if we do this long enough this way, that it'll become financially sustainable to keep the same mindset, I guess, that we have while we have jobs.
For sure.
It's nice that since you have those other jobs, like when a proposal comes in, it's kind of like, if it's not hell yeah, then it's probably going to be a no, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to deal with the bullshit, like projects and all that.
And helping save for the business too. Just,
definitely.
Saving up money for the business, yeah.
What kind of work have you guys been doing lately? I saw a few like things like a lot of pizza and beer stuff, it seems like, lately.
Yeah. We just wrapped that brand for Old Town Pizza. So working on pizza's been cool. We're working on a hot chicken restaurant right now. That's like,
oh, nice.
We're kind of like halfway through that. We're working on another brewery that we're branding, and so a lot of food and bev stuff. Yeah. And that's kind of the thing that we have liked to do. And I think with this fried chicken, the hot chicken restaurant we're doing, it's kind of the first like full restaurant where we're going to be kind of involved with interiors and some stuff like that too, and working with an architect. And so we're super excited about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's gonna be a fun one. You get to go wild on the hot chicken.
Oh yeah. Did the food and bev stuff kind of come like, I guess, was that like premeditated, or did you just start doing those projects and then more of those type of people started coming?
Yeah, I think just when we got the project thing when we worked with Slice and putting out that beer, and then we were just constantly doing labels for them. So I think that just, putting that out on Instagram and stuff just made those kind of other companies gravitate towards that. That's what I feel like the more put out, the more eyes are on it. that industry. So getting a little bit more on the packaging, getting hit up on the packaging.
The packaging stuff seemed to start to translate to branding somehow. And then also when we first started, we did kind of a pro bono project for a local food truck here called TNT Wangs. So we did something kind of for free to show we could do food branding a little bit when we first started out. And that's always been in kind of like pitches or whenever we're responding to a proposal to work on branding, we used to show that all the time. And then since then, we've started doing stuff like the Old Town Pizza. We just finished Super Stand, which was like a hot dog place that's in Michigan that's currently being built. Cool. Yeah, that one's cool. It'll take them a while to get everything built out because, I mean, we worked with them from the very beginning stages, and they actually just sent us an email like the other week of the architect that's putting together this building that they purchased and kind of refurbishing it. And it's looking cool. I can't wait till that actually comes out and they have signage and stuff, and we have photos of that kind of stuff to use for more pitches into getting into the restaurant food branding stuff. I'd like to do more of that.
Yeah. I've been working with the client I was talking about in London. It's like a deli, like food type place. And I was looking at I'm creating a character for that. So I was like really digging the Old Town Pizza guy. I was like, this is like kind of the vibe I'm going for. And I was realizing though, building out the other branding assets around it, like, you know, menus and like merch and all that, it's really hard when the person running the company kind of doesn't know what everything's going to be yet. You have to like keep talking to them through the different stages to figure out like, are you even going to have like real menus? Is it going to be digital? Are you going to have this, that? So hard.
Yeah, for sure. That's like,
go ahead.
Yeah, that's something we try to like figure out, like as we're going through like our discovery session too. It's like, where do you see this going? And like, what kind of things do you plan on like investing in or making, you know? And because I mean, a lot of restaurants starting out too just kind of print off their own menus, and it's like you can't do a whole lot with them. But just
and through those discovery sessions, it kind of like for clients that may not know exactly what they want to do, or they may think that they have everything that they know what they want to do, and then going through those sessions, you know, get raised questions that make them think about their company that they may have not thought about, or you know, different touch points that they need to pay attention to or think about. So that always helps too, to like really get that game plan going to fulfill the branding.
Yeah.
For sure. Those calls, like I used to be a little bit more like introverted, and I was like trying to keep stuff on, you know, messaging or email. And then I realized like a simple 5-10 even minute like call can turn so much work into so much less work, because they'll just say like a small phrase and you're like, oh damn, that's really important. You didn't say anything about that before we hopped on the call, you know?
Yeah. We were the same way. Like,
I think it's important to like connect with your client, you know, beyond the keyboards for sure. Like it just needs to be too, especially to getting into bigger projects and stuff. Like it's just necessary.
Yeah. We used to like ship straight up PDFs, like email, and we would like type out rationale and stuff, but like we wouldn't even get on a call to like present work and stuff at the beginning. And like now that we do that, I feel like it's usually a lot more successful that way. For sure.
You have the opportunity to sell your work while you're presenting it, you know, so.
Trying to type out like the reasoning for each like logo pitch on email is like gnarly.
Yeah.
You're just like, see, this goes back to like the origins of hot dogs or whatever. You're just like writing all this shit.
I know. I need to go look at some of the old stuff that we used to write up front of decks. Like sometimes you can write things better than you can speak. You know, I don't know if you're like that. I mean, I was kind of like that. It's like I can write something way better than I can just kind of off the fly. And we've even tried to practice that too. It's like whenever we are going to pitch something, like, and we put it all in Google Slides so we can type up notes just to make sure we don't lose track of some of those things. Cause like it is easier to have it written out.
Yeah. Key points.
Yeah, and it's like so many of those companies now too, because I was thinking about like what we were talking with, all the different things a brand may need. There's all these food companies now doing like that ghost kitchen stuff where they may not even have like an actual brick and mortar store or like a real like place. So at that point, you're just doing like, I guess like web branding, if anything, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy to think about. There's a couple locally here that are ghost kitchens, and actually one of my buddies here did the branding for, and they look awesome, but it's like they don't exist brick and mortar at all. And I DoorDash all the time, and I got Mr. Beast Burger recently, and I guess it's a ghost kitchen, but they actually have like cool stickers and stuff that they paste on there. Like the branding stuff is cool, even though I'll never you don't walk in the place ever, but
right. So, I mean, that's all they have. So it's like, it has to be good because there's no other way to win the customer pretty much.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know where that stuff is, but even like the food photography on DoorDash is like some of the best because they do like color backdrops and like the burgers look good.
I know the guy that shoots for a lot of the Mr. Beast stuff and a lot of those ghost kitchen photography. It'll just be like a network of freelancers that are local and they'll just tap in like we need some for our specific page or whatever it may be. It's just it's cool. Crazy because, you know, when it was in the early days of the internet, people were probably like, we'll never need to brand like online for our restaurant. And now it's like almost more important, if anything. It's wild.
Yeah.
Yep. Those ghost kitchens are weird too, because I'm always like, where are they? Like, there was one time I got some like wings, and my girlfriend actually made fun of me because she looked up the place. She's like, "That's just made out of a fucking Chili's." Like it was, it was like in the Chili's kitchen. It was called like Mr. Wings or some crap like that. I'm like,
and if it's a ghost kitchen, it's like it can be good in California and bad in like Nevada or something because it's based on the region and all that. I wanted to ask you guys, I guess, before I get too far into this other stuff, where'd you kind of, or what's the story, I guess, of the Design That Smokes motto? Because I like it.
Yeah. Well, just smoking. We're both smokers. I mean, my brother's I'm more like, I used to smoke. I mean, I smoke weed like every day, but smoking cigarettes, I do when I drink. I used to smoke all the time, but Jordan's just a habitual cigarette smoker too. So just the smoking thing, and you know, smokes is just a cool way of saying like design that smokes, like design that's fire.
Yeah.
It's
kind of a double entendre then. You're all chain smoking over here, and it's a fire design.
And then like one day we were just like shooting the shit, and we're like, it'd be cool to have a, you know, skeleton hand smoking a cigarette, and then we're like, let's do 2 cigarettes because there's 2 of us. So
we started doing like all the imagery was like everything was 2 of whatever. And like we had some other slogan called Twice the Fire. Another slogan we tried was Designed to Born, and like nobody really got it because we didn't really born. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like born to design, but it's more like we designed to just like feel something or whatever. But everyone was like, "What the fuck?" Everyone thought it was like a typo. So we kind of dropped that one. Design That Smokes is much better.
And if you have to explain it to everyone, it's like not a good tagline, probably.
We realized quickly it was not good.
When you guys start taking on like a new project, what's kind of the process between you two? Like, how will you divide, like, I guess the starting like work and everything like that?
I mean, it kind of depends on the project. You know, after, you know, we go through discoveries, I mean, with our client, you know, we get on a phone call or a FaceTime and just talk about the project and just all our ideas and kind of just shoot the shit, and kind of get everything out on the table. And then, kind of discuss, you know, someone might start working on type. We both might start working on type at the same time. A lot, especially in the beginning of a branding project, you know, like, because we give a few options, so we both kind of go
double
at
the ideas too,
go after the typography and then tweak each other's work. But and then a lot of divide and conquer. Like with I'm more of the heavy illustrator, so like you know, we might talk about like what we're going to illustrate. He might, you know, have an idea for me to illustrate, and then I'll go from there, and he'll start working on layout or type for labels or whatever, depending on what we're working on. You know.
That makes
sense.
Collaborative. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say it's pretty collaborative with in the libraries with Adobe. Makes it like super easy. Just, you know, dropping graphics in, just popping in and out from each other's screens across. So
you guys
states,
use the same like the connected accounts like that, and then you can just like drag symbols in and all that stuff. We have libraries for like each client and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's cool. So like we'll just name a library like Slice Labels 2021, and it's like if Jeremy's like illustrated some like skeleton like mummy thing or whatever, I'll take it and start laying out type. Like we'll usually discuss the concept a little bit and then kind of work off of each other. But yeah, the libraries is awesome because like you can either save over or just like save a new version of that. So like as we kind of build on top of each other till it gets to this final product, it's cool.
Yeah, I feel like that stuff's pretty like useful, but so many people I know like are just so foreign to like the libraries and like symbol stuff that they like until very recently I started using it a little bit. I'd always just grab shit from other files and stuff and like drag it over, but that I guess that's like the most for you guys working on stuff together. That's probably very helpful in like collaborating and everything.
For sure. Yeah.
And it's like there's like unlimited room, it seems like.
Yeah, I was like, it saves room on your computer. Like it's super quick. Like it's always there. Like, yeah, it's great.
I guess we could have. I guess like Adobe's like library setting could totally crash and lose all that. I don't know, but I mean, we've been going 3 years strong. We have like fucking 80 libraries, I think. It's like,
damn.
And some of them have like 300, 400 pieces of art like inside them. So. And it's just right there in your Illustrator. It's freaking cool.
You guys are heavy like vector based too, so I'm sure that helps with like the storage and everything. Not too much like big Photoshop stuff other than like I would think like mock-ups and other branding elements or whatever. Sure. What are some of like the benefits you think you guys can either answer this whoever in whatever order are the benefits or challenges of working as brothers rather than just like another designer?
I got a few. I don't know, Jordan. Mine is would just say is one that we are brothers. Like honesty, we can be upfront with each other. Like there's no beating around the bush about, you know, if like I don't like something, I say I don't like it. He's, you know, vice versa. And I guess with brothers, it's I don't know. We have that brother in you know intuition. Yeah, like. I think we're both pretty different in a lot of ways, but we are a lot alike in a lot of ways as well with aesthetics but like in different styles. And I think just together, it just works. Yeah, I love being able to see like me do an illustration. I have like an idea of maybe what it'll look like, and then when I give it to him, he comes up with something like completely different that's in my head that looks badass. Something I probably would have never even approached, but it just takes our work to like other levels. Like, you know, love it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And that was the thing that we talked about too. It's like, well, we are brothers. So it's like, I mean, some families stop talking to each other, but so we can't really have that big of a falling out. It's like, I mean, Jeremy's kicked me in the balls before where I thought I was going to die, you know, when I was a kid. we're still brothers. It's like, I mean, I don't know. So there's that benefit of just like, I don't know. There's a blood like trust of just being brothers. It's like, you know, we're not going to try to fuck each other over here. Like we're just trying to like experience this together and like make cool shit and put it out in the world and hopefully just work for ourselves doing what we want.
What's dope too is like with you guys having your own things, I'm sure that takes an added level of stress off of like you guys having to worry like too much about like the money side of things and all that when you're working through brethren. For sure.
Yeah. And we've like, and we've been kind of slow to get on board of doing that stuff. Like even this last tax season was our first time to do taxes and things like that we both get kind of overwhelmed by and like and frustrated with. You know, we're starting to get the hang of like Jeremy like handled our accountant more, you know, and I handle like some emails and stuff more. Like we're starting to try to figure out how to fall into these roles that make the most sense for our personality that aren't design things, you know?
Yeah, because that's half of it. You learn quick once you start freelancing. Sometimes I feel like I'm just like all day I'm just in my calendar trying to move shit around and figure out how to manage my time, but I spend all my time figuring out how to manage it.
I know. I'm so glad that Jeremy like has taken control of like even our finance stuff and like, you know, keeping track of everything and billing, and just so we can at the end of the month be like, all right, we made this much money this month. Here's how much we should be making if we want to have our ideal level of like we're not working our jobs anymore.
Yeah.
And just
Right.
so we can always be thinking about that stuff slowly with the benefit of having a job.
Yeah. Setting goals for ourselves to like, to hit those milestones.
Have you guys ever thought of, like, I know you're in different spots, but have you thought of getting like a location if you were to get if Brethren was like big enough to warrant that?
I mean, I wouldn't say never, but I don't see it any like in like the super near future, but I don't, always see like too far past maybe even 5 years, but
but like as far as like a location or brick and mortar, it's like Jeremy loves living in St. Louis, and I have a daughter and I'm divorced too, so I'm like I'm not going anywhere really. I was like I'm planted in Tulsa now. It's like so Jeremy wants to move back home and start working together. It's like that's what you're gonna have to do. I was like, if we ever have a brick and mortar, it'll just be me and Jeremy coming to visit sometimes.
Yeah. Just put it like somewhere where neither of you guys live, so you both have to drive it.
We'll just do it in Springfield. We've done that before. Like we'll meet up and work together, and we just meet in Springfield, Missouri, because it's like 3 hours apiece. And so maybe Brethren will be there.
Yeah, it's true though. I guess like I feel like at this point, unless your brand is like has all this inventory or something, having a studio with just two people, it's almost like I guess it could be like a vanity thing at that point. You don't really need it.
It would just be a house that we would Airbnb while we're not there.
No shit. We'll get in the Airbnb business. Yeah. I know there are people that have studios and stuff, and it's almost like even my day jobs, like through the pandemic and stuff, now everyone's been working from home. They're kind of like, do we even need this anymore? It's like half of their clients are out of state and stuff, and all the meetings are Zoom anyway. It's like you're not bringing in like local like people to do pitches in person and stuff. Right. So it's like, what's the point? And like you said, we're not shipping posters or shirts or anything, so we don't even have that. Like all the only supplies we sell right now is fonts, and those are all digital, so it's just no need for it.
Out here when I worked, I was working at a full-time job in the main like chunk of the like lockdown or whatever you want to call it, and towards the end we were all working at home, and then the CFO was like, I don't even think we need this. Like in like commercial real estate out here is like extortion. They're paying like so much money, and it was just like a glorified storage unit at that point for like 9 months. So it's good and bad. It's one of the good things that kind of came from the whole situation is that all these big companies always said, we can't work from home. We're not that kind of company. And they made it work, obviously.
Yeah. It's almost like a lot of people have trouble trusting their workers, like that they're actually going to do stuff. And it's like, man, especially when you're in design and things like that, it's like it's pretty obvious if you're not doing anything.
Yeah, it's either done or not.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Well, you turn something in or not, you miss a deadline or you made it. It's like.
Yeah, I feel like that's such a bigger problem, like, to question too. Like if you can't even trust your workers, then it doesn't have anything to do with them being there or not. You shouldn't have to watch them like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you guys ever worked with anyone like on some of your projects or brought people on, or has it always just been you two?
It's just been we've collaborated on a BR label with another designer. But that's like I don't think so.
Just recently we did that. Then that was like the first time I felt like we ever collaborated with anybody. But Slice did a collab with a brewery around them called Altamont, and they have a designer there, and we kind of got on a Zoom with him, and it was basically one of their flagship beers with the Slice beer. So we talked about how we would mix it and everything, and the guy ended up drawing kind of the key illustration, and then we took one of Jeremy's illustrations, kind of blended it, and then I drew this background. So it was the first time we ever had like a third person in on it, and it was fun. It was cool. Yeah.
Is that Slice? Like I hear you mention that quite a bit. Is that pretty big over there?
It's a small brewery, but it's making a pretty good name for itself. Their beers are like excellent. In Sacramento area is where they're based out of. They're out of Lincoln, California. There's like a huge craft brewery scene over there, and there's tons of craft beers and stuff. But Zach, the brewer at Slice, like actually he makes award-winning beers. Like they're incredible.
Yeah,
like we're
really good.
We're lucky that they ship them to us, and like I'm just glad that we're working with them, and they're like actually make really good beer.
Yeah, that would be kind of like a bummer if it was you just had to. It wasn't good. Yeah, I went to school in Chico and NorCal. We had like Sierra Nevada and stuff, and NorCal they take that shit serious. All the microbreweries, and we have like Lagunitas and all that stuff. I wanted to ask you guys what was it like designing for with the Guy Fierri stuff, because that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was fun.
There's so much stuff that we have that we can't show too, which sucks. Like, we had it on our website for a little bit, and they were kind of like, "Hey, let's take that down for now." Like some of it might come out, some of it might not, but it was fun.
No, that was through an agency, so like we never got to like talk to a guy or anything. Which would have been cool, but that was like our first like exciting to have like like a big name to like start doing designs for. So with him just doing stuff like food illustrations and fire and stuff, like it was just it was a fun project to work on for sure.
That was one that like when it came through the email, I remember seeing it on my phone, and I was at work, and I'm like, I gotta go outside and smoke a cigarette, and like call Jeremy. I was like, holy shit, dude, like so they want us to do some stuff for Guy Fierri. It's fucking crazy. And I'm just like,
if
why?
you're in food and bev, it's like, who else could you want for like reputation or whatever? That's like
I know.
Out there.
They have that like a meme Flavortown USA meme account, and it's like one of the illustrations of the face I did, and they just put that face on everything, so it's like literally a account with that face on it everywhere. It's hilarious.
What I guess like what has been some of the like best, what do you think's the best beer out of the stuff you've designed for taste wise?
I'm like looking up at all of them.
I know. I mean, Tight Quarters. I mean, that's an award-winning one. That one's fucking badass.
Yeah, and that one's came out like 3 times. There's been 3 releases of it. It's really good. Tight Quarters.
Oh, nice.
Original Juice.
Original Juice
is very juicy.
Yeah, it's just like a straight up hazy IPA, and it's so good.
Yeah, those were like so popular when I was my last year of college. We had like the hazy little thing with Sierra Nevada, and after that, every company it seemed like just hazy, and now they're all making seltzers and shit. It's the new thing.
I love hazy IPAs.
So do I. And now I'm back into the West Coast IPAs because of Slice, which are basically just clear IPAs, which are more in line with like the early IPAs that people were making, or I mean, Sierra Nevada Pale Ale is a pale ale, not an IPA, but it's almost like it's still clear, and it's kind of like that gateway into IPAs. Like, so I like the West Coast ones. They're good. Yeah.
What it was like when I went to school up there, it was almost like there was no point in not drinking Sierra Nevada because it was just as cheap as like PBR or some shit out there because it was so local, and it was pretty nice. Now I'm back in LA, so everything's just expensive pretty much.
I'll still drink PBR.
Yeah, I still do it all the time.
I think it's like I always classify PBR as the best like shitty beer or the shittiest good beer. It's like right on the cusp of like beer.
Yeah,
sure. I like hams too. Like there's this like dive bar we go to here, and when they're out of PBR, I'll just drink their hams, and I'm like, this might be better than PBR. I don't even know. It's good.
When I go to the bar, it's like I just will try to get the cheapest one they have half the time. What are some of the stuff that inspires you guys and it says influenced your style? Because you have like a very like notable style with like the way you guys do illustrations, and I see a lot of, it's from my opinion, I see a lot of like skateboarding brand like influences and things like that.
Hands down skateboarding for sure. I mean, I grew up like first time I like saw like someone skateboarding, I just thought it was like the coolest fucking thing. And so I've been skating since I was like in 4th grade, and always been with Thrasher magazines, and then getting into music and stuff and punk rock and just all that. So all those aesthetics, I've always been into.
Yeah.
Nice.
Definitely skateboarding, and like Jeremy said with punk, and even we were kind of like I don't know how old you are, but Jeremy's what, 33 and I'm 36.
I'm
So we were like on
23.
that 23. We were kind of on that cusp. Like whenever I started getting the internet, I was like more like 15ish, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and we would even get like Fat Records catalogs like mailed to us and stuff where they were literally like line drawings of the shirt with like the art on it, but you're like looking through almost like a zine to like write in your order and get it. So
That's
even
dope.
like shit like that was just like an interesting way to see design and then album art and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm like too young to where like all the punk bands I like are like senior citizens and shit. If you try to go see them, you know, like I'm wearing this Descendants shirt when I saw them when they went to Chico, and they're probably one of the only punk bands that still seem like they have energy and shit.
Yeah,
like, they don't look like
they
should be carried off.
I know they look younger than they are. I believe like. Even like No Effects, I saw a video of them the other day. I'm like, they're looking old as fuck.
And Fat Mike's still wearing dresses and shit. Up there. Yeah, I noticed like with I remember you guys did. I think I have it over here. You did something. I think it was for the coffee, like the Dark Moon, and the little guy was like big, like World Industries and like blind vibes, like all those cool little cartoons.
Yeah, that is a definite like inspiration rip. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, those stuffs were so like they had no right having that good a design for some of those companies. It's crazy how like they were just so iconic, and I almost feel like half of them were just put something together for us, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up fucking drawing Flame Boy and World Industry, or Flame Boy and Wet Willie, like all the time, like on my notebooks and shit.
And like the toy machine monsters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I feel like those little toy machine like aliens influenced so many like kids, and even in my high school's notebooks, like drawing with you draw like a little thing and an eyeball coming out on the top, like looking around or some shit.
And that's what was so awesome. I think that's why the youth was so attracted to it. And like as kids, we loved it so much too, is because there was like something about it was like sketches out of a notebook, or like it was rough around the edges, or like, and it was weird stuff. Like, so like when you're younger, you're just like, this fucking resonates with me so hard. And I see that in the design world all the time too. It's like you can kind of tell certain designers that are influenced by like skateboarding, like in general, you know, like because that art style is just like, it's never going to go away. It kind of like reforms and reshapes and comes back another way, but it's still like almost the same ethos behind it. You can see it on screen or print or whatever it is.
Yeah, and the skateboarding culture, it has so many different applications that these logos go on. Everything from like those banners when they're throwing an event with everyone's logo on it, to like they have like, you know, something has to be super bold, like the Spitfire thing with like on the wheels. You can even tell what it is even when it's like super far away. I think it's kind of like a lot of old like band logos were that in that way too. Like they were just fun to redraw in your notebook. Like they were good enough to be like super iconic, but they were so simple that you could like do them yourself too.
For sure.
Yep. I know. And some of that stuff is just like, that's how you can manipulate typography and just make it something like, I can't think of a logo offhand, but even like the Metallica logo, it's like just having those like edges or whatever. It's like a trick to the type that makes it fucking unique, but then you can still like sketch it in your notebook. And it's so
like
solid.
Every fucking like skater, like punk rock kid has like one of those Black Flag tattoos on their thumb or some shit, you know?
Yeah. And that Black Flag logo, I mean, just the 4 bars is like, it's so badass. Like, and even Descendants, like the little Milo drawing, like it's one of the, there's so many people that have the Milo tattoo, you know? Like,
it's crazy when these logos, like especially band ones, like the Milo or the Misfits face or the Rolling Stones like mouth, it's like they become such a thing that it's like a brand. Like you'll just see it at the mall or something on like a random shirt, or even like Bob Marley as like an entity. He's like a brand or some shit. You know?
I mean,
it's crazy.
Yeah, even me at my 9 to 5 doing sorority shirts. I mean, they put that Rolling Stones, the mouth tongue, like on everything. It looks like that big tongue. It'll be like Alpha Phi. Like it's fucking ridiculous.
At my school,
they were always doing the
like
Rolling Stones.
Yeah, and then you have some guy come up to them like, name me all the songs, like, if you're wearing that.
Someone's gonna call them out.
They have at
one song.
At my school, they'd always have like the frats would always rip off either like beer logos or like Travis Scott, like Astro World, and just be like, Alpha Gamma or whatever. And like, it's like, that was the only thing. And like, I remember them approaching me before, like, can you do like the Sigma Chi, but like in the Twisted T like logo? And I'm like, why can't you guys just have like your own thing for once? And they're like, this is just how you do it, man. This is the way. Yeah. I guess that's like what sells in that culture.
Yeah. Well, people love fucking rips and like bootlegs of shit.
Yeah,
like,
parodies.
Yeah. All those hardcore bands, when I would see them in high school too, like it'll just be like, a band but I'll start with an S, but it'll be like the starter logo or some shit. Like they just completely rip it off and they don't care. It's like, I used to have like a Rotting Out shirt and it was just the Thrasher, like pentagram thing. And it's like, since it was all, grassroots bootleg or whatever, it's like no one's ever gonna come up to them and I guess get involved legally or anything like that.
Yeah, it's funny when punk bands start doing it to like old punk bands. They're like, there'll be like Mass Intruder or some like a pop punk band did like a Ramones shirt, or like I saw Shook once had like a Descendants logo shirt, and it's like
full
almost
circle.
People, it's coming full circle, and they're ripping off like kings of their genre. It's hilarious.
It's funny when you see it like in the total opposite spectrums of like the world too. Like it'll be like the Black Flag bars, but it'll be like for some like sorority like coffee like shirt or something, and it just says like like black coffee or whatever. It's just like that kind of shit. It's so fucking weird.
It's so funny.
It just speaks to how like good that is though, that those people even want to use it even though they have no like, I guess, methodology behind it or whatever, other than that it's recognizable.
It's so funny.
What kind of so like, I guess obviously the skateboarding stuff, but so it seems like that and like punk music is definitely a big influence in your guys' stuff. And like what, I guess, like what kind of stuff, like how am I trying to say this? How did you translate like that stuff into wanting to get into design? Like where did it actually spark that inspiration?
Yeah, I would say for me, like also like playing in a band and stuff, I used to only try to like make the kind of things I wanted, I didn't want to compromise shit really. And then with design, I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'll sell the fuck out. Like I will do whatever, like, I mean, and with day jobs I've had, it's like, even if I'm making ads for, I don't know, a hospital or something, doing design is like still cooler than, the working on a pipeline or something that I've done previously. Yeah. So with design, I didn't want to make it like about being like stylistic more than just like, this is a career path I can take. And then I think with Brethren, we started kind of naturally getting our artistic like style back by just kind of doing the things that we wanted to do. And then that kind of snowballing from there. Right, Jeremy? Don't you think? Because I mean,
yeah, for sure.
I don't know. What do you think about that?
I guess I'm trying to think of like how to answer it. I mean, like, or what the real question was.
It was kind of
because well, for me, like over with skateboarding aesthetics, like getting into design. I mean, like I got into design, like I took a Photoshop my senior year of high school and was just like, I wanted to go to like paint and be like a paint major and just, paint oil paintings. But, so I was like, well, graphic design is more job opportunity. So after taking that Photoshop class, I was like, I'm going to go to school for design. And when I was in school, I mean, like the projects I gave, I like designed, I made a skate brand, and like did like a skate campaign, did skateboards, like skate t-shirts. Like those are the projects I gave myself to show in my portfolio. But as in style with Brethren, I mean, you're on key of what you were saying, Jordan. Because even from that time, even graduated, when I got the job in St. Louis doing that sorority shit, like I didn't do anything on the side for so long until Jordan went back to school for design. Then he started doing stuff on Instagram and putting out work. And I was like, damn, he's doing like cool stuff. I was like, I haven't done shit in forever. So he kind of like, like made me get off my ass and started doing some stuff on my own.
That's
and then that's what kind of snowballed there, because we were both starting to do stuff, and we always talked about like doing something together, and then one day we just did on a project. And
because you stop at some point. I think when you like get a job as a designer, you stop designing things for fun, or like
100%.
You know what I mean? Like
I didn't push myself at all to grow. I would like in any way, and like since my brother and I've been working together, I've already felt like I've grown a lot since in that amount of time. And sometimes I kick myself in the face, like if I would have done that like 10 years ago, like what level would I be at right now if I would have like kept going like I did in sports, you know? But
I feel like also too, what you said about having a job and like stopping you from the side thing, I see it all the time. You see all these super talented young designers, like maybe 2 or 3, 4 years younger than me. They're in the point where they're either about to graduate or at their end of college, and then they're like 1 or 2 years away from getting like a job at wherever they're going to work. And in that time, they're just blowing up online, like all this cool work, posting, poster every day challenge and all that shit. And then they get the job, and their account, it's like, where'd they go? They like lost the reason they were able to do that is because they had all the time in the world. Type of thing.
Because it definitely, I mean, jobs will suck your time up big time, and then you just get tired and you're like, man, I want to just chill. Like, I mean, everyone wants time to just chill out, but
for sure.
And when it's design, it's almost like more draining than non-design if it's like, design you don't like, because you're still using that part of your like your brain or like your energy pretty much. The last thing you want to do is work like 10 hours on like a print job and then go home and try to make like a poster to put online or some shit.
For sure. But like you said, like when people are doing like challenges and stuff, like I feel like that's what like helped both of us get out of like our day job rut, was like doing Instagram challenges and things. Like Good Type did stuff, and like Logo Inspirations would have like a logo challenge or some shit. So like having like a online like prompt to kind of create something like kind of takes out that factor of like, well, what am I going to work on today, and then kind of gives you something to work on, and then you can be creative and do it your own way. But it's nice to
kind
have
of like
prompts.
Decision fatigue when it's like a complete blank slate. It's like I feel like I've noticed with creative block and stuff, I don't actually have that much creative block once I'm in there. It's the act of like it's blocking me from starting it rather than like the idea that's not working or something.
That's how I'm the same way. It's like it's getting started that's the block. It's not once you're going, you're going. It's hard to stop once you get going sometimes.
You're like, I gotta go to bed because I gotta work in the morning.
It's like 2 a.m. all of a sudden.
Such a like luxury though to have that problem, compared to some people. They would never work on their job for fun after work. They wouldn't. Like plumbers don't come home and just be like, I'm just gonna work on my own sink and shit.
For sure.
Fun tonight. So I try to be grateful about that, because sometimes I've talked about this probably on like every other podcast, but sometimes I get into this thing where, like you said, I want to chill, and I'm upset that I didn't give myself time to chill. But then one of my friends mentioned to me, he was like, that's a good thing. Like you want to work so bad that you're choosing that, whether you like it or not, subconsciously, that's what you want to do in that moment is work on shit rather than whatever chilling is.
Yeah.
And I think it's because there's like something so satisfying about creating something or making something, it's like when you finish, like, I don't know, like even when we finish something, like I'll put it on my phone, share a screenshot to him, like go out, smoke a cigarette, kind of look at it on my phone too, like look at it different ways. And just the feeling of finishing something when you're like, now it's something, it feels so good. And I think once you get in that zone, it's like something that you start to chase almost,
For sure.
Yeah. I think also it's like you were saying like, once you get going, it's hard to stop. And I feel that same way sometimes, because I don't want to, I want that like satisfaction. I did so much already. It's like when you don't get to finish that day, you pretty much just work, and then you're like, fuck, I want to finish this, but you don't want to rush it, because then not everything can be completed in one sitting or whatever.
No.
Yeah, that's the hardest with fonts, man, because like fonts are like the hardest part to like get started, But like once you get started, I mean, it's just like, that's all you want to do, but it does take some time, and it's like, you're not just going to finish it in that night, you know?
No.
So it's like, you gotta,
and then with anything, sometimes it's better to give it some space and let it breathe, like take your mind off it a little bit. Cause like,
for sure,
you can get stuck, like kind of like Jeremy and I were talking about that a few weeks ago. It's like we get stuck on like a detail thing that almost didn't even matter that much. You get so fixated on it to where if you just took a break the next day, like you could solve that problem like in a heartbeat, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you have a
I get into that
approach.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get into that with like editing. Like if I'm editing a video, one like sound thing or like some weird cut will be fucking with me, and I'll spend like an hour trying to get this thing to work, and then I could have just did like a rough edit of everything and went back to that, and it would have been, I probably would have had a clearer head and been able to just go in and do the quick like 1, 2, 3 with the fonts. When I talked to, because you were talking to me before, Jordan, about Sam, he was talking to me about designing the fonts with his partner for Kern Club, and the kerning process of that seems gnarly, where you have to go in and adjust like A to B, A to C, and then B to C, and do every single one. And I'm sure that is like super tedious.
Yeah.
For sure.
And we always we use the auto kern feature on this thing that we use, so we're kind of fucking lazy about it.
Yeah, because most of the time it works pretty well. It just depends on the style of your font. But like when you do have some, especially the Kern Club, they have some really creative like typefaces with with black letters and just different serifs, especially when you're dealing with serifs and shit.
All caps is, I'm sure, like a lot easier too with the auto.
And we just do like display like style. So
I don't think we've ever done a lowercase. We've everything we do is display, so it's like a lot easier to do. And we haven't done a script yet either, which would do more kerning. But I did like over the holiday, like December, our buddy Adam Vickerell, who does design, he was doing a typeface for a company he was working with, and he was like, man, I need help doing this. I haven't done it before. And they actually were like, he was coming back to be like, hey, you need to kern these letters and these letters and these letters. So I was like having to go through and actually do the tedious part of the kerning. And I was like, damn, this shit does suck, dude. Like, like it's a lot more work.
Do you guys
learn to do it though?
Do you guys create a lot of typefaces like per project, or do you use like a lot of your existing ones that you created in like newer projects and stuff?
It just depends. I mean, most of like for logo wise and branding, that's usually completely custom made typeface, but we haven't for like the logo itself, but we haven't really made a font for a brand yet. But we're actually made quite a bit of letters for this current branding that we're working on right now that we are going to make a typeface for. So this will be the first one that we're actually going to have a typeface for this brand.
That's dope.
Yeah,
we already did so many of them basically. It's like, might as well finish it off.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because their name is really long, so we're like, dude, it has like almost all the fucking letters in the alphabet. So we started kind of building it out, but then I was thinking about it too, and we're still kind of in the throes of working on this. I'm like, well, like, if this logo type is a custom type and we make a font out of it, it's like, how much do we want to use that font? Like, do we want other headlines and stuff to be with that logo type font? Like, we still haven't even kind of thought through how we want to do that. Or then if we give that font to the client, like, are they going to start using that on everything, and it like takes away from the branding or the
body
logo,
type and shit?
Yeah. All of a sudden, a paragraph is written in it, and it's super stylized. Like, it would look like shit in a paragraph.
Send you an email.
Yeah, it needs to be. It would have to be designed well for it to be used.
I guess if you make the whole font out of the custom word mark, it almost like takes away from the custom-esque of
well, with this, we would definitely, like if it's using a C in the logo, like the C in the font that we're gonna make, we'll have like some tweaks. Will be tweaked, so it's not like so you wouldn't be able to just type it out and it be the logo. Like we would purposely, differentiate that.
So we're still like trying to figure. We're about to like solve the problem right now.
Like not right now. But that's something that I've been thinking about if we were going to go that route.
Have you guys considered selling like actual stuff? Because I know you sell like the digital downloads. Have you ever considered selling like, I don't know, like cups or beer glasses could be like for your brand?
We've talked about it a lot and just haven't gotten to it because like just shipping and stuff and like, but I don't know. We're starting to be like, well, we have enough of a following on Instagram. Like we have a bunch of shirts that we send out to clients and I've been saying like, let's just throw them up on the site, not make a big deal out of it, and just see how they do. Like, I don't know. I've thought about it. It's definitely something we think about. And then it's like, what if we just don't even do like super like brethren stuff? Just whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, just have like a random, just like cool apparel.
I'd like to do some
cool merchandise. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to do some
born shirts or what?
Yeah, design to born.
Yeah, that'd be cool because like you see some of those companies like the Lincoln Design. It's like they have a whole ass pretty much like store. You know, like they have like everything on there, and it's like. I'm sure they have like the audience for it, but they probably started somewhere with a few, you know, mugs or whatever it may be.
Same with like Draplin. It's like, I mean, Draplin, that's all he does is sell his own shit now, you know, like he's a fucking merch giant now,
yeah, he has like toenail clippers and shit. Like, so much stuff.
Yeah.
It's wild.
I think it's one of those.
His website's scary, man. That shit's like it's like a archive of just like so much stuff. It looks like a warehouse in a website.
For sure.
Well, it's interesting because I heard him on something saying that they're revamping his website, and I was like, I'm excited to see what it looks like because it's been the way it is for so long.
That's what he told me when I had him on, and he was saying like, don't worry, like he said they're making an archive of all the logos, and he sent them to the developer, and the developer was like, dude, this is like 10,000, like we can't put these all on one page. And he's like, I want you to put them in a row of 3. And then he was like, they're going to be scrolling forever. And he's like, that's the point. I want them to scroll forever, you know?
Yeah.
That's badass. He's
so
awesome,
you just keep
dude.
Scrolling, but that bar still stays like at the top of the page. It never like really makes its way down.
Yeah, it's like when someone does like 10,000 stories. It's like they're tiny little dots. You know?
Yeah,
You're like,
from a
shit.
concert or something. That's the worst. I hate when like people like just go to some event and it's like just stacked and you're like you're like your finger gets tired trying to clear them out. Because I have like this weird not like, maybe it's like an OCD thing or whatever, where like I don't like the notifications on anything. Like I always clear out all my email, all my like almost to a fault, like too much. Like I'm just trying to close it. Or if it's a video game, anytime you unlock something new, I make sure to click on each thing to make sure it goes away, because it's just extra clutter, I feel like.
I'm the same way. And like I have a weird thing, even like if there is a story and it's like a bunch, I feel like I have to click through it. Like I can't do the next for some reason. Like I have to be like, like I don't know. It must be like some weird OCD thing.
I'm kind of that way, but I moved my old mail app just like on like the 4th screen because it's like 4,000 whatever emails or something like that. Like never been able to clear out.
Yeah,
that would give me a panic attack.
I know.
I saw this tweet. It was like, I beat the game or something, and this guy had so many emails that he got a notification. It was like you're out of, like, that's the max. It was like 25K on his little mail app.
Oh my god, dude.
That would just give me like crippling anxiety. I couldn't even work because I had to look through all those. Take me 4 weeks or whatever.
When my Gmail, because I have like 4 accounts from like work and a personal one and brethren, it's like if it gets up to like 20, dude, it drives me insane. Like,
yeah, it's like what I was talking about earlier with that. Between that and the calendar, it's like half the time you're an admin, not even a designer.
You're
just
but I
don't have enough money to have someone do it for me, so it's like just gotta fucking deal with it.
Just moderating yourself.
One of the things I wanted to ask you guys about was, so like, I know both of you guys do type and illustrations, and I really like the illustration style you guys work in. I was wondering what's some of the process you guys go through when creating like new illustrations from, you know, sketch to whatever the final ends up becoming.
Yeah. Well, usually, like, I mean, depending on what it is, like, we'll talk about what we're going to illustrate, like the concept of it. And I'm usually pretty quick with the process. You know, I'll sketch out like a rough little sketch, and I might kind of refine it a couple times. of like doing a little sketch and then a
just on
transparency
paper,
and draw over
right
it. Just on the iPad with
the
a pencil. Yeah, and sometimes I'll just use Procreate just because it's more of like a pencil and paper, like of sketching wise. And then depending on the project and what it's for, I might use Adobe Draw or Illustrator on the iPad and execute it. But most of the time I get a couple sketches going and to kind of where I know where it's going to be and then bring it to Illustrator and just pencil it up.
Yeah. I saw you guys were like, I saw this article or something. It was like, it seemed like you guys were like the Adobe Illustrator iPad, like early adopters or something like that.
Yeah, we got hit up by Adobe to work on the beta version of the Illustrator, which is really cool.
I
haven't even used it ever. It looks interesting though.
It's pretty cool because like you can typeset in it and stuff. We don't use it that much though. Like when they first gave it to us, it was still in beta, and they were like, "Hey, we want you guys to do a piece and post it on social, and we'll make a video out of it." So, I mean, it was basically like a paid ad campaign thing too. But it was awesome to get Illustrator early on and test out what it was like. But the pen tool, and it's awesome, and the brushes are cool. Like the brushes make anchor points, and so there's. But I still use Adobe Draw a lot for like my sketches, and Jeremy uses Procreate, and like if I sketch something, usually I'll get it to a place where I'm like, all right, this looks all right, and then Jeremy comes and fixes everything and makes it way fucking better.
Yeah.
Or like, so do you guys do that often, where it'll be like, one person may do the sketch and then Jeremy could maybe go in and polish up the final illustration or something?
Jeremy redraws pretty much everything I do, unless it's more like in Illustrator, like kind of shapes like geometric things. Like there's some beer can recently, it was like Blueberry Voodoo, and there's like these skulls, and it was like super easy to make in Illustrator, like with the shape tool and pen tool and stuff.
I see it right here. The little, it's like flat geometric more style.
It's like Jeremy doesn't have to fix that. That's a little bit different.
Yeah, I didn't have to do anything with that.
Yeah, I feel like some stuff, because like, my professors, they'd always like hammer into your head, like you have to do 500 thumbnails or whatever before you even get into the program. And it's like some stuff, you're just wasting time if you could create it digitally from you're just like, I feel like half the time I sketch in Illustrator, like I'm just copying next one and expanding on it like that. Cause if it's, I can't draw perfect circles anyway. So it's like, it's kind of pointless.
No doubt. And I mean, it is a good process. I mean, they say that in design school, just doing tons of thumbnails. I mean, I found myself that like, I feel like usually my first idea is usually my best almost or usually the one that I go to. But I mean, when you're getting to branding and stuff too, I mean, it is definitely important to branch out and explore, those solutions. But and
sometimes I feel like
everyone's different too in their process. So.
When you go with the first idea, you almost feel like you're not allowed to or something, like you didn't do enough work yet or some shit.
Yeah. I feel that way with like branding projects more than like a beer can. I'm like, well, we're kind of in some parameter of like, what is this name? And here's this concept. And we're like, well, the concept works. So whatever we start making for it is what it's going to be,
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
And you gotta, manage the time, like, of what you're getting paid for and the amount of time that you're putting into the work. Like, I mean, because, you can see, like, you can see in the beer cans, some are super heavy illustrated, some are more on the simpler design and more type-based cans,
right.
So.
Yeah, I really like the way you guys present the stuff online, because it seems like a lot of the branding solutions and like packaging and logos you do for these different breweries, I really like how there's so many different like alternatives and stuff. Like it'll be like 6 little like different logo variations or like little tagline things. And I feel like that stuff's always like so cool. And I think as a client, it's like very rewarding to like, it makes them think like you did more, like you have all this stuff. Like here's all these cool little symbols and shit.
For sure.
Yeah. And then it's fun to like get in, like with beer labels, we've gotten in like writing copy or taglines or like stupid like phrases that go with the beer or whatever. And that stuff kind of translates into branding. And some of the bigger branding projects that we try to focus on, like when we do a discovery and we kind of, in our proposal, like if it's a bigger branding project, we'll do like a positioning statement or something, which is really just a paragraph of just kind of like, what is this brand about, like what's their manifesto. And it's not like high level strategy or anything, but it's a little bit more creative writing than the client might be able to come up with for themselves. And that kind of shit seems to be beneficial for a lot of like new starting out brands, or even with Old Town Pizza, they'd been around for 20 years, but like the whatever, literature about themselves that was out is super dated, and so just kind of coming back and combing through that and rewriting stuff and like a new tone of voice or approach, people that kind of helps us boost our, I guess, cost on branding projects and bringing more value to the table.
Seems good for like graphics. Merch and stuff too. Like, I'm looking right now at this like respect the drip, like next to the little kind of World Industries guy type of guy. And like that stuff, like, it's cool when you can use that, on like a pocket or some shit. And then the back will have the big ass logo or whatever it may be. A lot of your guys' work, I feel like, would translate strong to like t-shirts and things like that.
Yeah. And we do a lot of stuff like that. We call them like graphics kits, and that's what we started pitching to apparel companies, because people would come to us for like a one shirt design or something, and we're like, well, how about we do like a collection? And now we have like 3 kind of bases of how many graphics you can get, but we're like, you can get 6 kind of type solutions, 6 illustrations, and then we kind of combine those into badges or lockups that would be great for any sort of merch, and with those graphics kits, a lot of times we'll write a couple lines like respect the drip or whatever, and kind of inject some sort of personality to use for merchandise. So those have been pretty successful for us as far as like getting clients that are willing to kind of spend more money on merch and then have like a bunch of stuff to kind of release later, throughout the year.
Get it all done at one time rather than every month they want a new shirt or something.
And it's like you don't have to deal with like, sometimes it's cool for brands to like work with tons of different designers or something, and then other times like it might be easier for them to just get us to do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, doing the graphics kits is definitely it's more worth our time. It's more bang for their buck too for the client, really, when you get down to it. And just with the process on how we do things, like there is some minor revisions, but you get so much in the graphics kit, and we usually kind of beef it up a little bit to where if you don't like everything, you just kind of kill a couple marks, but it's not like any like huge revisions. It's just like maybe change the tagline or something small, but so it kind of eliminates that process, and it makes the process just easy and
and we try not to get in the production side of things with the graphics kits. It's like everything we do is vector. Whatever printers and stuff you're working with should be able to change the color and figure all that stuff out. We'll pitch a color palette or two that you can they can take or leave, but then it's like all that merch, since it's vector, it's like it's ready to go on a hat, it's ready to go on a sticker or a patch, and then whatever person you're working with is going to manufacture it, they show mock-ups before they print them all, so they can change the colors and stuff, and you can decide on what colors you want. I mean, obviously,
and we even deliver one color and like 3 or full color options like in the kits to make
for
it
screen printing
easy.
and stuff. I've gotten in the habit of just like every fucking possible file I'll try to save out and give to the people, because I don't want them coming back with any issues when they tried to make a shirt or something.
And then that's the one thing is like, is it reversed out or not? Is it going to be on a dark or light background? Because you never want them printing, like something on a dark background that's shouldn't be,
Right.
And if it is like, we'll give them, both files. Like if it is something that, should be black on a white shirt, if they're trying to print white on a black shirt, but like give it that white, outline or whatever. So the negative is hitting the black, or the shirt colors coming through.
Because that's always the biggest bummer, is when you see someone that took a piece that you did and like, oh, you fucking fucked this up.
You gotta like really make it like I guess like idiot proof, for lack of a better term,
and just make sure they know. I mean, because some people don't know. It's like you got to educate people along the way a little bit,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but I really that was pretty much all I had for you guys right now. And before we go, I wanted to say, like, if you guys want to check out to the audience, the Patreon, we're going to do another little Q&A with Jordan and Jeremy, get a few more things to talk about. But other than that, I want you to tell them where they could find you, your individual pages and Brethren and all that.
You can find us at Brethren Design Co. on Instagram, brethrendesignco.com, online. You can shop some fonts, check out our work there as well.
Cool. And I appreciate you guys coming on. It was great to finally sit down and talk. Man. I know we've been messaging on Instagram a little bit and stuff.
Yeah, man. I love like the album stuff you've been doing, like when you did that Turnstile album and just like showing the process stuff. Like, I think that shit's rad. I like what you're doing, and I appreciate you having us on.
Yeah, definitely. And thank you, both of you, Jeremy and Jordan. It was great. It's hard to figure out who's supposed to talk, but I think we got through it enough.
I think we did okay.
Yeah, we've done worse, I think.
Yeah.
All right, everyone, check out the Q&A on Patreon if you want to hear about a little bit more. But for now, peace out and thank you.
Thanks.